Hey guys, welcome to the 101st episode of Nature's Circus. I'm here with Mr.Saf. You're hearing from Rascal, and we're going to be talking about the Denver, Colorado International Airport.
Woo.
So, Mr. Saf, have you heard anything basically about this airport?
No, I haven't.
Nothing. So, nothing about creepy stuff, ghosts, aliens.
No, I haven't heard anything.
Interference. Okay, so here's a backstory about the airport. It opened in 1995, was years behind the original opening date, and over $2 billion over budget. Yeah, that's $1 billion.
Yeah.
It's 53 square miles and one of the largest airports in the United States. Has 35,000 employees and is one of the largest employers in Colorado as well. It's a huge airport.
Sounds like it. My goodness.
And so now I'm going to show you some pictures of the outside of the airport.
It looks like a whole bunch of circus tents connected to each other.
You would agree it's unusual looking though, huh?
Yeah.
Out of all the airports you've probably seen.
I've never seen an airport that looks like a whole bunch of tents around each other.
Tents around it. Here's some more. Here's from a distance what it looks like.
That looks creepy. I'd see that in a horror film.
Yeah, I guess that is right. Yeah, that could be very horror-inducing. Conspiracy number 1 that I'm bringing up here is about the tunnels. This airport has an array of tunnels and hallways underneath the actual floors or the actual where you would walk and where people interact. So there's this whole community underneath the airport basically that was built. Yep. And within that community, there are supposedly tunnels that go nowhere and roads that go nowhere under there, as well as cryptic messages on the walls that look like alien-esque writing. There's also been, when there's been tour groups down in the tunnels, there has been spottings of lizard people and aliens.
Oh my god. There's a lot going on. In this airport.
This is just the tunnels.
Goodness gracious.
One more conspiracy theory about the tunnels is that there is people that believe that the tunnels are underground, built underground solely so that they lead to a secret fallout shelter for the uber rich to hide in threat of war, or that they basically leave military bases that are secretive. What do you think about all that with the tunnels?
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, those look creepy. I don't think you saw, there was this movie that began with talking about how, I think it's in New York, they have a whole bunch of subway systems underneath. It went over the budget, so they never used it, so they just closed off these tunnels, so no one knows what's in these tunnels since it's dark. People. It could be. So that's what this reminds me of.
Alien tunnels. So the reality of the tunnels, it was basically just a more efficient way to move luggage around because it's one of the busiest airports in the United States.
That makes sense.
They can basically move luggage around faster so that they can service planes, get them in and out faster.
I mean, I guess if it's that big and you don't have enough room for your luggage, then you just move it in the tunnels. Yeah. But if I was working there, I wouldn't want to go into the tunnels alone.
Right. One thing interesting is that you didn't bring up is people have seen lizard people and aliens and cryptic writing there that have taken tours in the tunnels.
Well, I mean, I guess I didn't really comment on it because usually you always hear that in these creepy places. There's always someone that sees a ghost in their periphery in these. Now, cryptic writing though is a little odd. If it's just for luggage and you randomly see alien writing on the wall, then yeah, that would freak me out.
Well, I don't have any pictures of any of this to show you. This is just things that I found on the internet out there of what people have stated they've seen. However, the airport actually kind of came out. I think it was the airport. If it wasn't the airport, it was the employees that came out and they said they like to have a little fun with tour groups. And they have costumes that they like to, wear.
I was about to say, I do think it's a good marketing thing saying we have aliens and lizard people under our airport. Come take a visit and tour.
In fact, we can even insert a lot of that promotional stuff that the airport leaned into, stating, with an alien head and then a multiple choice thing about their airport. And so they actually have embraced a lot of the conspiracy, which we can get into more when we're done with all of these theories. This is just number 1.
Oh.
And on to number 2. Aerial view of the airport, which is a series of runways, obviously, in a building, okay?
Yeah.
It's a very famous symbol from World War II that you can see from up above. The image is basically there to let aliens that are flying over know that evil is here and they should not come here. This is supposed to be a symbol for them. Some
So
sort of
the
beacon.
aliens are also afraid of someone that can't be named?
Apparently so.
So have aliens been around going like, oh, frick, there's that symbol again.
We can't go anywhere near it. We were told not to. By who knows who. But somebody told us not to, apparently.
That or either like they want to be fancy until they like got an aerial view and they're like, oh, frick, it's that symbol.
It's that symbol again. The reality of this actually is, as you can tell by looking, that symbol has various arms. Every one of those arms has a runway on it so that once we come back to efficiency, they can turn planes out on every single runway if they need to, if the weather is permitting. So if the weather is in their favor, basically, then they can use as many runways as they like. So it's just as efficiency. Unfortunately, it's got this symbol attached to it. Is a conspiracy about the Illuminati and the Freemasons. There are various marks all around the airport that direct you to Illuminati or Freemason iconry. So this is one right here that they say is attached to. It's basically a mine cart. It's got letters in it. Conspiracy is that the AUAG stands for Australian Agent, which basically tells the Illuminati that they can get any sort of poison removal underneath this mine cart. This mine cart it's in the ground.
I love how they chose a mine cart to show we got antidotes for poison in here. The bin of medicine?
Yeah, the bin of medicine. That's what it is. I like how it says Australian Agent. So I don't know, that's also cryptic. But in reality, it's basically Colorado's a mining state. The AU stands for gold in the periodic chart, and AG is silver. So it's just a homage to Colorado and their mining. That's actually a very light symbol. And I think if you looked at it long, you'd probably figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure someone looking at it would be like, what in the world does that mean?
I'm sure if you looked at the letters, periodic chart probably wouldn't come right up.
It's really rare, but it would be so funny if someone just came up and pulled a periodic table just out of their bag and was like, I gotta look at this.
Wandering around, have this.
Man, I recognize the AU from my periodic table.
So that's one. The next one is this plaque right here. What's interesting about the plaque is it's got a few things. One, it's got the Masons sign on there. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is it says New World Airport Commission, which is garnered a lot of speculation. Conspiracy about this is the message is referring to Freemasons use the airport to help in their world domination. This is because of the symbol on there. It also says it won't be open until 2094. Actually, the New World Airport Commission is a made-up name that the people that were planning this on that board or group of people put together. They've straight out said it's a made-up name. It actually says on here that it's a dedication capsule. It's a time capsule, basically. And what is in the time capsule? Just a bunch of stuff from Colorado that they're going to open in 2094. That is literally all that it is. Various people have come around saying this is some sort of symbol for the Freemasons dominating the world, I guess.
It's pretty weird. Well, you don't usually see an airport keep a time capsule.
That's
anymore.
True.
I could definitely see why people were like, this is a little odd that this airport that has a whole bunch of conspiracies around it is making a time capsule for 2094.
And I think it was put here in 1994. So, 100 years. That sounds about right for a time capsule.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe that kind of threw him off, too. The only other thing I would point out that I didn't really see too many people point out is that on either side of the Mason symbol are actual Mason lodges, and they had something to do with the creation of this. The next thing is art. The art in this airport, I've been in a few airports, and it definitely, if you take a glance as you're running by to your gate, it's going to be a little off-putting, a little odd. You're going to be like, what in the world is this doing here? And so here is some of the artwork images, and I'll just...
What the heck is happening at the bottom?
Rainbow, exactly. What is happening at the bottom? And this very interesting person, gray figure, and a gas mask on.
I would say that connecting it to the seconds theory, do you think that has something to do with the symbol that they're portraying on the airplane runway?
This is all part of the same mural. Something's on fire.
What the heck is happening?
There's some sort of animal. I don't know if they're asleep. There's a few more pictures. Here's a little bit more closer up of the fire. And here's another part of that mural, which first guy, the gray guy, is now in green and some sort of military outfit with the, I think that's the last picture I have for, yeah. So this is all part of the same mural. But you see how I say if you run by as you're trying to get to your gate, you might be like, whoa, and take a double take and go, what in the world's going on there? Here, I'll tell you what the conspiracies are around this. The mural artwork in the airport is of a post-apocalyptic ruins, showing secret messages. Images within the mural are people with gas masks, burning forest, and war. The conspiracy is that all these images point to the Illuminati. What the Illuminati, I don't know, maybe they're with the Freemasons, they want world domination in some way. That's what they get out of this, though, is that it's odd artwork and the Illuminati has something to do with it.
It is a little weird, especially the last image. I find it interesting that it gets darker and darker every single image. Yeah. It feels like.
Oh, definitely.
It's just, I've never seen any art like this in any airport, so it's really, like, usually you see like the weird modern like triangles and like maybe a flower bird drawn. Like, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Or it's like really modern looking. This looks like a full-on art piece, like relating to something, which is odd for an airport, in my opinion.
Yeah, usually airports tend to lean into whatever they're known for in that state or city. That's what I've seen a lot of. Colorado, very much into artists. It's actually what it has. The artist, Leo Tangama. This is his artwork. He provides a depiction through the art mural of anti-war and pro-environment in striving for a world free of war and environmental ruins. So that's what his mural is more about.
I can see that.
That's why I think it's very shocking, too. It makes you look at it. And so he kind of like says, oh, I'm going to do this through this medium, and this is what my message is. So I don't want any war because this is what happened.
That makes sense. As an artist myself, I can see where he's coming from. But still, I can definitely see why people are making conspiracies around it because, like I said before, you don't see this in an airport.
No, this is very different. It would take, I'd probably stand there and stare at it for a while if I had the time.
I could count on my finger how many times I saw a guy wearing a gas mask in an airport. I've never seen...
How many? One?
Yeah, this one time. I made it sound like I've seen them multiple times, but this is the first time I've seen like a mural with like a guy in a gas mask.
Yeah, exactly.
Guns.
That's kind of how I felt when I first saw it. I said, well, that's interesting for... You know, the most people are going to see it is in an airport. Especially one of the busiest airports in the country.
I could see this in a museum.
Yes, definitely.
They commission artists for like graffiti on like buildings. I could see this on a building. Like the first thing I wouldn't guess this is in an airport.
1% of all construction budget to all the art.
Well, that's cool.
And there's supposed to be somewhere around 40 plus art installations within the airport. And there are some other controversial ones, but this is the one I particularly cared for. I really like. There's actually two on this. There's this one, and there's one other that everyone knows about that I had to put on this list because I don't think you've ever seen it.
Like, look at it. It's crazy.
Okay, moving on. And this is the big one. Oh. This is the one of all art daddies of the world. I don't know how to else put this. This is at the top of the heap, man. This is the blue Mustang, lovingly referred to as Bluecifer. This image isn't the best. I'm going to show you a different one because he has his white eyes in that one. This is it right here. He's got glowing red neon eyes. Bluecifer. He's 38 feet tall and weighs 9,000 pounds. The blue horse, fiery eyes, supposed to represent the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Yeah. But I didn't find anything behind it. So maybe because he looks demonic, because he's huge. I don't know. That's one of the theories I found. Kind of adds to the mystique of the airport. Because this is what you come to see when you first come to the airport, is this huge blue horse. Over the time since he was originally installed, he's been kind of controversial around the people of Colorado. There's people that absolutely love him, and there's people that absolutely hate him. I kind of think he's cool looking. I do think he's a little scary. So that's the conspiracy. Before I get into the reality of why he's there, any thoughts?
I feel like I just keep repeating myself, but like by the amount of airports I've gone to, I've never seen something this weird in front of an airport. This just reminds me of like I could see this in an art museum. Like I wouldn't
definitely
go to an airport and be like, oh, the creepy demonic blue horse that I see in every... It's so odd to see that this is at an airport.
Well, it could be used for directions. Hey, go past the blue horse.
I guess it could.
To the next parking lot.
But why don't you use like... Well, I don't know what their emblem is, but like a statue of their emblem. Like they made their emblem a horse.
Because 35 feet.
Statement.
That's a
big
few
horse.
Stories. That's pretty big.
It's a big horse.
He's called Bluecifer by the locals to represent Denver of the opening of the West. Originally wanted buffaloes. They felt that was going to be a little inappropriate because of the mass near extinction of the buffaloes in the West. So they choose to use the horse as a symbol for their Colorado in the West. which is actually pretty cool because they used horses too. I see the idea with the buffaloes. I think that would have been a little, considering
I don't think the idea of a demonic buffalo would have been nice.
No, the red eyes are actually a tribute to his father, who worked with neon sign making. Unfortunately, when finishing up the sculpture in his studio, a piece fell off of the horse and killed him, alluding to more of the conspiracy theories behind this entire airport.
That's creepy. That's creepy. I'm saying
So too.
this horse is kind of terrifying. Can you imagine you're out at night and you're walking around and you just see a freaking huge blue horse with red eyes staring at you?
That's like a stance
Like,
of a
look at
horse
that.
that would want to go after you.
Yeah.
He means business.
The reality of why the airport put it in there is pretty nice of them to do for Colorado.
The thing I want to go back to really fast is that the outside look of the airport. You said circus tents, which actually I didn't think of, but it does. It looks like those old circus tents.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what exactly they were trying to go for. I had an idea, but then when I got to Bluecifer and I read about what they felt was insensitive using it buffaloes, the research that I did that I found why they use these structures on top.
I see what you're talking about. I didn't picture that before.
And from what I found, that is what they were going for. They're going for teepees. They're looking for an outside aesthetic that also paid respect.
I mean, this is really odd for an airport. That's still really nice that they're making a tribute to, like,
Native Americans.
Yeah.
What do you think about the conspiracy theories?
I think it goes together. Most of the overarching idea is that they're planning on aliens coming and for, like, the post-apocalyptic wars to happen. And they're kind of warning people through cryptic messages. But I also get that the airport's trying to tribute to Native Americans in Colorado in the West and how much war has caused death. I get how kind of creepy it is with aliens and the lizard people.
There are lots of gargoyles. The airport has decided, like I said once before, lean into this conspiracy theories, stuff going on around their airport. And they put in this one gargoyle that actually interacts with people. We can stop it there.
I do like that they lean into it to be funny.
They represent Colorado very well as far as what they were trying to go for.
They're not very much like every single airport you see because they all look the same except for this one. Like, I haven't seen an airport that tries to represent.
I think it's kind of cool that they went outside the box and went to artists to try to represent the area in Denver and Colorado. Anything else to say? That's about it, I guess.
Yeah.
So if you little clowns like this video, it'd be really nice if you'd subscribe and maybe like the channel as well. But for now, Mr. Saf and I will be watching. We're not going to watch another cat video dancing, but I would like to see some cats with hats now because those are funny. Bye!
Bye!